I've got a story. You've just reminded me of one. Because it's like in theme with, I think I was like 16 at the time when this happened. And my mom was always really cool about us throwing parties because we at the time had like 7 acres of land in Mississippi. So it was just like all woods around us. So everyone of my friends, we could have hundreds of people on the property and it would be enough for all their cars and all their people, like, do you know what I mean? And we would have like massive bonfires and it was really, really fun. And my mom was always really chill. She'd come and like hang out with us, or she would just go and like go to bed and like chill in the house and stuff. And we had a party that I was like kind of throwing. And for some reason, I just didn't want to drink, which is weird because
That's weird.
I know. That's why I'm like, sometimes your gut, you have to listen to your gut. I didn't want to drink. And so I kind of had maybe one beer and it was a really, really nice time. And I was the last person to go to sleep. So we had neighbors, but our neighbors were maybe like a half a mile's walk away. And they were young. They were maybe like a couple years older than me. And so I said like, yeah, like come along. His name was like Gordon. Gordon, who lived down the road, our neighbor. And he was just like very country, really, really nice kid. And he had brought some of his friends as well. And so I was the last to go to bed. Like my sister was asleep, my mom was asleep. And I was kind of like, I remember this so vividly because I was just starting to turn out the lights. Everybody else was like pretty much passed out drunk. And I just heard this boom, 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 boom on my door. And I was like, oh my God. Like, immediately shit myself. And I was like, hello?
Nothing to see here.
I was like, who is it? Because we didn't have any way to like look or anything. He was like, Melanie, it's Gordon. Like, it's Gordon. Like Sam, his friend that was with him. He was like, Sam's hurt himself. Can you please open the door? I need to call an ambulance. And I was like, okay. And I opened the door. He's like, he cut himself. And he was holding Sam up, like arm around his shoulder. And he had a t-shirt on. So Sam had his t-shirt off and Gordon was holding a t-shirt onto his chest. And he was like, look. And he pulled the t-shirt off. And he had a cut from the base of his neck all the way down his chest to his sternum. It was like, because it's such thin skin, it was split completely open, like, and I could see his fucking bones, his muscles, like everything inside him. It was like Gordon said, my face just went completely white. Yeah. Like I just like looked at him and I was like that. And then I just, like he said that, I just like turned into a robot and I was like, get in the car. Like that. And I just like, I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell anyone I was going anywhere. I literally, because he was like lolling. Like, do you know what I mean? And I fucking grabbed my keys and like got both of them in the back. And one of my friends was like awake still. So he jumped in the car as well. Everyone is freaking out, like literally everyone, because he's going into full shock. Like, do you know what I mean? God. In the back of the car. And we live like, we couldn't call an ambulance because we live so far out. It takes us like an hour to go to the groceries. Like, do you know what I mean? To go and get groceries. So it's like a fucking effort. So it would take longer for us to like call an ambulance than drive. So I'm like speed fucking racer because I know these roads so well and I'm driving so fast, like literally crying my eyes out. And he's like going super white and blue and like starting, like honestly, it was so scary. I've never driven so fast in my life. But like, to be fair, I was like the calmest out of everyone. I was like, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. And I like got him there and they said, when they got him in the hospital, they said if he was 1 centimeter, got caught 1 centimeter lower, it would have hit a main artery to his heart and he would have died. He also was going into shock.
What the fuck though? Like, how did he do that?
So when around our property, my mom has these fences like that she put up, and because the property's so big, you can't like, she doesn't have like really, it's not like wooden fences, it's like metal with these like spears, like kind of like how you said, what did you call them? The little sharp, pretty much like a metal spear in between each wee like gate bit, or like fence bit. And they were drunk and they couldn't see because it was so dark, like there's no street lights. And they tripped and fell over. And he had fallen over on top of like the wee spear and it had sliced his chest open. He had to get like something like like 30 or like I can't remember numbers, but like a shit ton of staples in his chest.
Yeah.
And they were like, if he would have waited, he could have died like just from going into like I don't know, shock or something like that. But it was fucking terrible. All while this is happening, my mom had heard the car go off, and she was calling me like a maniac, being like, Matt, like leaving me horrific voicemails and stuff, being like, where the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And then like I told her everything that happened. She was like, oh, okay, I'll see you when you get home. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, intuition, like if I would have, I was the only person who was sober at that house. I was the only person that could have driven him. And why the fuck didn't I drink? Do you know what I mean? Isn't that crazy?
It is weird.
Yeah, but that was like
crazy.
That was nuts.
Fucking insane story.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, luckily he was fine. And
that's nuts.
Crazy scar.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it was horrible. Like
remember
he
this
went...
one time when I got really drunk and I almost fucking died?
Yeah, literally.
Fucking, like,
what the fuck?
I had a friend in Bulgaria who she had similar like fencing.
Yeah.
And she would like climb over it, and then she accidentally got her arm stuck in it, and like literally it stabbed through her like muscle. Oh. And she has like a massive scar as well.
Really?
Like,
holy shit.
Yeah, I think it kind of like, I don't know.
Damaged,
don't quote me on this, but I think she got like a stutter from it because it gave her like such a shock.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It like literally like her meat was like hanging out from her arm.
No.
Yeah.
Like it's
like, you know, like the muscle was actually like hanging out. Yeah. And then I remember the teacher in school was like,
he did a talk in it, didn't he?
No, they were like, no. They were like, she's coming. No, I didn't find out what happened to her like for ages. It was they were just like, oh, don't make fun of her, like she's got a stutter. Like they were like, please be really careful, like she's got and I think that's what kind of caused it. Yeah,
like shock is like crazy. Like because I thought he was dead, like in the back of the car, because he was completely white and blue, and because he was literally just in so much shock and pain, and like because imagine looking down and seeing your insides. You cannot,
I would freak out.
You can't compute that. Like, do you know what I mean? Death. No, that's what I mean. It's like, I thought, this is it. If I don't get him to the hospital right now, he is going to die in my backseat. Like,
I cut my finger and I was fucking freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose so much blood. I'm going to cry.
Like, he was like, ambulance for me?
I know. Ambulance for me?
He was like, but make sure you hold my hand when I step up because I might pass out. It's so high.
Yeah.
That's so... ambulance for me?
Honestly.
No. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, that's awful.
Yeah, it's weird. There's actually like, you know, not only is it hard to get through systemic oppression, but also capitalism, but also fucking